Did you know certain vegetables you thought were healthy could quietly harm your body after 60? It sounds shocking, but it's true. As we age, our digestive systems change, our nutrient absorption weakens, and our sensitivity to natural toxins increases. And the foods we once trusted without a second thought, some of them become silent threats, especially when eaten the wrong way too often, or without knowing their hidden risks. In today's video, we're uncovering 6 common vegetables that older adults should think twice about. These aren't exotic, hard-to-find items. They're right in your kitchen, or maybe even on your plate today. But once you understand how they interact with aging bodies, especially in areas like blood pressure, thyroid health, and kidney function, you'll see why so many experts now urge caution. This video isn't about fear. It's about knowledge, about giving you back the control that often slips away quietly with age. So if you're in your 60s, 7s, or beyond, stay with me, because the vegetables we'll go over might just be ones you've trusted for decades. And what you'll learn today could help you avoid long-term damage that no one warned you about. Number 1. A vegetable that spikes oxalates and kidney risk. Let's begin with one that many health-conscious people swear by: spinach. It's packed with iron, magnesium, and vitamin K. And you've likely been told your whole life that it's a superfood. But here's the part most people never hear. Spinach is also extremely high in oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds that bind with calcium in your body, and when that happens, they form sharp crystals. These crystals can settle in your kidneys and contribute to painful kidney stones, especially in older adults whose filtration systems have started to slow down. For someone over 70, the kidneys are no longer as efficient as they were decades ago, and adding high oxalate foods to an already aging filtration system, that's a recipe for trouble. Now you might be thinking, but I've eaten spinach all my life without issues. And you wouldn't be alone. But aging bodies are different. Your risk isn't the same as it was at 40 or even 60. Your hydration level, your calcium balance, and your gut bacteria, all of them shift as you get older. And that means your body can no longer process these compounds as smoothly. One 75-year-old man I spoke to, Henry, had no prior kidney issues until he started drinking green smoothies every morning with raw spinach. Within a few months, he was in the ER with his first kidney stone. The doctors told him flat out his healthy habit had overwhelmed his kidneys. There's also something subtle going on here: the illusion of control. When we feel we're doing something good, like eating greens, we don't question the details. But raw spinach is very different from lightly steamed spinach. Steaming cuts oxalate levels by as much as 80%, while raw spinach keeps every bit of it intact. That's why some dietitians now recommend older adults limit raw spinach or rotate it out with lower oxalate greens like arugula or romaine. So what's the takeaway? Spinach isn't bad. It just isn't the harmless health hero we assumed. Especially not for aging kidneys. If you're still including raw spinach daily, think about switching things up. Your body will thank you later. Number 2. A vegetable that disrupts thyroid balance. Next up is a family of vegetables that often shows up on heart-healthy lists: cruciferous vegetables, especially raw kale. Yes, kale. The poster child of clean eating. But here's what many people don't realize. Kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli all contain compounds called goitrogens. These can interfere with your thyroid's ability to use iodine, which is essential for making thyroid hormones. When your thyroid function slows down, it doesn't just affect your energy, it touches nearly every part of your body. Your metabolism, your mood, your weight, even your heart rhythm. Now here's where it becomes especially important after 70. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows. So if you unknowingly start interfering with your thyroid on top of that, you're setting the stage for fatigue, brain fog, and sudden weight gain that seems to come out of nowhere. One woman I spoke with, Judith, she was 74, was blending raw kale into her smoothies every day. She was also feeling cold all the time, tired even after sleep, and had no idea why. It wasn't until her doctor ran a thyroid panel that they found her hormone levels were crashing. Once she stopped eating raw kale daily and started cooking her greens, her symptoms improved dramatically. And that's the key here. How you eat them matters. Cooking cruciferous vegetables helps break down most of the gytrogens, making them far less disruptive. But the raw, juiced or powdered versions, they go straight into your system with full potency. That's why the danger is often invisible. You think you're doing something good for your heart, but meanwhile your thyroid is quietly taking the hit. So if you're over 70 and you've been loading up on raw kale, Brussels sprouts, or cabbage, especially in juices or smoothies, this might be something to reconsider. It's not about cutting them out completely. It's about understanding your body's changing needs and adjusting how you nourish it. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3. A vegetable that raises blood pressure through hidden sodium. Next on our list is something most people wouldn't even think to worry about. Pickled vegetables. Especially pickled cucumbers, radishes, or even pickled beets. Now these might taste refreshing, nostalgic, even. Maybe they remind you of your grandmother's kitchen or old cookouts with friends. But what they contain is far more modern and far more dangerous hidden sodium. Most of the time when people talk about sodium, they think about salty chips or processed meats. But pickled vegetables can be deceptively high in salt because of the brine they're soaked in. One small serving can easily carry more sodium than an entire meal should have. For older adults, this is a major concern. After 70, your kidneys naturally become less efficient at filtering excess sodium from the blood. That means salt starts to accumulate, leading to higher blood pressure, water retention, and added stress on the heart. I once met a man named Robert. He was 76 and living on his own after his wife passed. He didn't cook much, so he relied on jars of pickled vegetables for flavor and convenience. But his doctor started noticing spikes in his blood pressure, even though he hadn't added table salt to anything. Turns out those pickled side dishes he had every night were quietly loading his body with sodium. Once he switched to fresh steamed vegetables and cut back on the pickles, his numbers started dropping within weeks. It's not about banning every pickle from your plate, but being aware of portion sizes and how often you're having them. Some brands now make low-sodium versions, and those can be a better choice. But better still is to treat pickled vegetables like a condiment, not a daily side. A little taste once in a while is one thing. Making it a habit is another story entirely. As we get older, our blood vessels lose some elasticity, and the heart has to work harder to keep things moving. Adding excess sodium, especially from places we don't expect, is like pouring pressure into a system that's already aging. So take a look in your fridge. If those jars of pickled vegetables are disappearing faster than anything else, your blood pressure may be paying the price, whether you realize it or not. Number 4. A vegetable that quietly spikes your blood sugar. This one often catches people off guard. Corn, sweet corn, corn on the cob, canned corn, even corn-based snacks. Most folks think of corn as a vegetable, something harmless, even healthy. It's colorful, it's sweet, it's familiar. But what many don't realize is that corn is actually one of the highest glycemic vegetables out there. That means it can spike your blood sugar rapidly, especially if you're eating it without enough fiber or protein to slow things down. Now, if you've lived your whole life enjoying buttered corn at summer barbecues, this might feel hard to hear. But here's the issue. After 70, your body's sensitivity to insulin naturally decreases. Your metabolism slows, your ability to regulate blood sugar shifts, and your risk of pre-diabetes or diabetes quietly rises. That's when foods like corn become more of a problem than a pleasure. Corn is mostly starch. A half cup of sweet corn has more sugar than you might think, and it converts to glucose quickly. This rapid spike in blood sugar can lead to energy crashes, increased hunger shortly after meals, and over time damage to blood vessels and nerves if blood sugar remains too high too often. For older adults already on the edge of metabolic issues, that's a dangerous pattern. Let me give you an example. Susan, a 72-year-old I once worked with, loved canned corn. She'd mix it into rice, soups, even have it on toast. She wasn't eating candy or cake, but she couldn't figure out why she felt so fatigued all the time. Her doctor eventually tested her A1C levels, and they were creeping toward the diabetic range. It wasn't until she replaced the corn with leafy greens and high-fiber beans that her blood sugar began to stabilize and her energy returned. Corn is not inherently evil, but it's not as neutral as many believe. And when you combine it with other starchy foods like potatoes, white bread, or rice, it pushes the body into a kind of sugar overload, especially in older adults. This can make your pancreas work harder than it should, or worse, wear it out over time. If you're someone who's managing your blood sugar, or simply trying to avoid the blood sugar roller coaster, it may be time to treat corn as a once-in-a-while item, not a staple. You don't have to fear food, but you should understand it. Corn can still have a place, but that place might be a few steps back from center stage. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5. A vegetable that hides heavy metal risks: spinach. Yes, I know it's often praised as a superfood, and in many ways it is. It's packed with iron, calcium, magnesium, and antioxidants. But there's a lesser-known side to spinach that becomes more important as we age, especially for those who eat it often. You see, spinach tends to absorb and retain high levels of oxalates and even heavy metals, particularly cadmium, from the soil. And these compounds over time can quietly undermine your health. Let's unpack that a bit. Oxalates are naturally occurring in many plants, but spinach is one of the highest sources. For some people, especially those with kidney issues, a high intake of oxalates can lead to kidney stones or aggravate existing kidney conditions. As we age, kidney function can decline naturally, even in the absence of disease, which means our bodies are less efficient at processing and eliminating these substances. What was harmless at 40 may become a real burden at 75. But the part many people never hear about is the heavy metal angle. Spinach grown in contaminated soil can accumulate cadmium, a toxic metal that's been linked to kidney damage, bone loss, and even certain cancers. And unfortunately, cadmium contamination in agricultural soil isn't as rare as we'd like it to be. It's often the result of phosphate fertilizers, industrial runoff, or even air pollution settling into the soil over time. Once it's in the plant, it's in your body. Now, this doesn't mean you need to fear all spinach. The real risk comes when you eat large amounts frequently, especially if you rely on spinach as a daily salad base, smoothie ingredient, or cooked side dish. The dose makes the poison. It also depends on the source. Organic spinach doesn't guarantee heavy metal safety unless the soil itself has been tested and verified, and washing it doesn't remove internal contaminants. I knew a man named Harold, 82 years old, sharp as a tack, and proud of his green routine. Every morning, without fail, he'd blend spinach into his smoothie. After 2 years of doing this, his doctor noticed his kidney function markers had suddenly shifted, not enough to trigger alarm, but enough to raise an eyebrow. When Harold cut back and added variety like kale, arugula, and romaine, those numbers quietly improved. Spinach isn't evil, but after 70, we have to be smarter about our choices. The older we get, the less room we have for toxic buildup in our system. Our detoxification slows. Our organs are more vulnerable, and our resilience shrinks. So if you love spinach, keep it, but rotate it. Don't depend on one vegetable to carry all your nutrition. Variety is your protection. And in this case, protection against something most people never see coming. Number 6. A vegetable that turns into a sugar trap. Corn. It's sweet, it's nostalgic, and for many of us it brings back memories of summer barbecues and buttery side dishes at family gatherings. But behind the sweetness lies a problem most people never talk about, especially for those over 70. Corn isn't just a vegetable, it's a starch-heavy carb bomb that acts more like sugar in your body than most people realize. When you eat corn, whether on the cob as kernels or ground into polenta or grits, your body quickly converts it into glucose. And for seniors whose insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age, this means one thing: blood sugar spikes. Frequent spikes don't just raise your risk of diabetes, they accelerate aging on the cellular level. That's not opinion. That's well-documented science. But there's another layer that makes corn particularly sneaky. Corn is one of the most genetically modified crops in the United States. Most of the corn grown commercially is engineered to withstand pesticides or produce its own insecticide. That means unless you're buying certified organic or non-GMO corn, you're likely eating residues of chemicals like glyphosate, a herbicide, now linked to liver damage, hormone disruption, and even cancer in some studies. Seniors are especially vulnerable to these slow-building effects because their detox systems aren't as robust as they once were. And let's talk about corn oil. Highly processed, stripped of nutrients, and full of omega-6 fatty acids, it's an inflammation factory. We know chronic inflammation is a silent driver of nearly every age-related disease from arthritis to Alzheimer's. Corn products, whether they come as oil, syrup, flakes, or tortillas, feed that inflammation if they're eaten regularly and without balance. One woman I spoke with, Eleanor 77, had been eating corn as part of nearly every dinner. Cornbread with her stew, corn on the cob with her fish, a corn muffin in the morning. After her blood pressure started creeping up and her joint stiffness worsened, her doctor suggested cutting back. She switched to fibrous vegetables like zucchini, bell peppers, and broccoli. Within 6 weeks, she was walking more easily and her sugar levels stabilized. Her exact words: "I thought I was eating like I always had, but my body was changing. I didn't realize how much corn was dragging me down." The thing about corn is that it feels harmless. It's warm, it's familiar, and it doesn't seem indulgent. But after 70, indulgence isn't the danger. It's consistency. It's the things you do every day without thinking. The foods that feel safe that often do the most quiet harm over time. So be mindful. Enjoy corn if you love it, but don't let it sneak into every corner of your diet. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we age, we start to realize something important. What we eat no longer just affects our weight or energy for the day. It shapes our entire future. The vegetables we once assumed were healthy may now work against us, slowly wearing down our hearts, our brains, and even our bones. It's not about fear, it's about clarity. You deserve to feel empowered by your food choices, not tricked by them. Each vegetable we talked about today has something in common. It either hides toxins, spikes blood sugar, fuels inflammation, or disrupts the balance our bodies work so hard to maintain after 70. And the most dangerous thing of all, most people have no idea. They're eating these foods thinking they're doing the right thing, and slowly, quietly, their health slips. But that doesn't have to be your story. You've made it this far. You've lived through decades of trends, fads, and conflicting health advice. Now is the time to simplify. Go for vegetables that are clean, fresh, and give more than they take. When in doubt, choose what feels light, digestible, and truly energizing after you eat it. Your body has wisdom. Trust how it responds. We're not saying you need to eliminate every item on this list forever, but awareness creates space for better choices. Maybe you swap canned mushrooms for fresh. Maybe you cut back on corn, or give your digestive system a break from eggplants for a month. Even one small shift can lead to better sleep, more energy, and clearer thinking. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.